Welcome in, YouTube. Welcome in. Appreciate you guys for joining the channel. Hey, today's topic for discussion is virtual wholesaling. I've been hearing a lot of people ask, how do you virtual wholesale? How do you make money from properties you've never even seen before? And trust me, I've made some money from virtual wholesaling. I haven't done all my business that way, but since coronavirus hit, we have adjusted and pivoted our business, and 90% of what we do now is virtual. The best thing about virtual wholesaling is it gets to a point where you no longer have to be involved. Right. So that's one of the first benefits that I would definitely say with virtual wholesaling. And the reason why I looked at it and was like, man, this makes absolutely the most sense, because it allows me to go to Mexico and run a business from Mexico, or it allows me to go to another country and run a business from another country. But once you have these things in place, essentially you just go out and make money over and over and over, right? So that's the best part about real estate. If you know what you want, I promise you real estate can get you exactly that. Hey, but before we get started in the video, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like button. It helps me out and reach a bigger, wider scale of people, and essentially make sure you subscribe. I'm always trying to help people out. If you guys have any questions about this process or any other process or anything that you're going through in your real estate business, definitely let me know. That way I'll make a video to help you out. Right, so let's get started. Number one, the most important thing as far as real estate, period, you got to have a target audience. If you don't know exactly who you're going after and who you're looking for, it's going to be very, very hard to actually find them, right? You got to be able to find and pinpoint those motivated sellers. So right now we got the coronavirus hit. What's most important? It used to be foreclosures, but foreclosures now aren't necessarily motivated, because all they got to scream out is COVID, and they're getting the forbearance, right? So with that being said, that's not actually what's helping a lot of people, or that's not what's actually our target audience right now. So what we're looking for is actually vacant homes. That's where a lot of people are making money, and that's where we're making money as well. We're closing on one for $24,000 because it's a vacant property. People lived out of state, they no longer want it. Coronavirus, they just want to cash out and get some money for it, right? So I would say data is the most important. When we talk about data, where do I get my data from? I get my data from Real Estate IQ. Real Estate IQ is where I get all my data from. They provide me everything within the state of Texas. That's where I'm at. I live in Dallas, but I invest in Houston, San Antonio, Austin market. Some of the data is already skip trace. Some of the data isn't already skip trace. But essentially, that's where I get majority of my data from. Now, do they have vacant homes? No, they don't. But they are getting water shut off lists. They are getting foreclosures. They do have probate, affidavit, airships. They do have a lot of data and a lot of opportunity there for us to, as investors, to go out and make money on. So it's a lot of pain on those particular lists that they're providing, and it comes straight from the county, which means it's accurate data, right? So that's the most important, is get your data. And another company I use is Batch Leads. Batch Leads is another company that I use. They're very good for letting me know if the property has been vacant, and stacking the list, let me know if it's on multiple lists, whatever the case may be. Batch Leads is a great tool. If you guys I recommend it, highly recommend it. Hey, check the link below, or check in my bio. I definitely have information for both Real Estate IQ and Batch Lead Stackers for you guys, so you guys can go and take advantage of those opportunities there. So number two, next thing you're going to need is your actual dialer, right? We're talking about cold calling. We're talking about talking to people. That's what it's all about. Real estate is a contact sport. We got to talk to people in order to make money, and we got to focus on talking to a lot of people, making a lot of offers, and then getting a lot of houses under contract. Those are your KPIs, your key performance indicators when we're talking about this business. It's all about talking to people. How many people are we talking to, right? So rule of thumb for you newbies out there, however many contracts you want to get in a month, you need to start making that a daily habit of that's how many offers you give that day. So if you want a contract every 2 days, you need to be making 15 offers a day, right? Exact same thing. If you're making one offer a day, you can only look to have about one deal a day, right? So you got to get used to making offers. That way you know if you got a deal or you don't have a deal, right? So that's one of the biggest things. So with that being said, dialer, let me get back on topic. Dialer, ZenCall, I would say, is the best dialer out there. I've used just about all of them. I've used Mojo so long that they actually gave me a cup. They gave me a gift, like a cup. They sent me something in the mail, just thanking me for being with them for so long, right? So I've used their system for a long time. I've used ZenCall for a very, very long time. And in those instances, ZenCall was the best tool that I actually had. And then it allowed me to scale and actually have multiple callers that call for me, because it allows me to keep up with when they logging in, when they logging out, the call logs, the recording, and it's only $99. That's cheaper than anybody out there, from my experience, that actually provide great data there, or that actually provide great service and accomplish exactly what we're looking to accomplish, right? So that's number 2. Number 3, you need a comp system, right? You need something to pull comps for you. So we currently use Real Estate IQ, the same company. They pull in 3 different states. They use Texas, Georgia, and Florida. If those are areas that you guys want to invest in, you can use exactly that. That's where they get your data from as well. But they used everything for Texas as well for me. So I'm able to go in there and pull comps and figure out accurate data as far as what is that particular home is worth. Now, if I'm in an area, say if I'm in a one-off area where they were called in Oklahoma and I had no comps, at that particular point, I would use a different source, maybe Zillow, figure out what's been used and just calculate it from there. Use some of the free sources out there. I don't necessarily recommend it because it's not going to be accurate, but at least you'll be able to look and see what that house sold for. Typically what I do is just discount it 10% and then run my numbers based on that new ARV that I just discounted, right? So that's typically what we do. So that's number 3. Number 4, you got to get photos. Now, a lot of you guys are thinking like, how am I going to get photos if I'm not there, right? So this is how we done it. We done virtual wholesaling one of 2 ways. Typically, depending on your seller, depending on where they are, if they actually live there or close by, everybody understand what's going on with the COVID situation. So we've been able to use that as an excuse to actually get the sellers to actually take pictures for us. So it sounds something like this. Hey, Mr. Seller, I know with COVID going on, I want to make sure that everybody is safe. So what I'll do is that I'll just ask you to just send me a couple of pictures, or maybe 20 pictures of the house, especially anything that you deem to be a big problem. And I'll take your word for gold with it. But anything you deem to be a big problem, take a picture of it and just take a couple of shots of every room. That way I get a photo of it and make sure everything is right. And just and on the outside, just the front, both sides, AC unit on the outside. Any big problems, we take a picture of those. But outside of that, we're getting homeowners to take pictures of it. And then we're scheduling the showing, saying, hey, look, we're going to come through with our investors and our partners on the deal. And we're going to walk the property with our contractors as well. That way we know if it's the right property. Setting up the wholesale, right? So we get the pictures from the seller. If you can't do that, what you can do is actually partner with somebody in that particular market. I've done that plenty of times. Social media is a great tool. Thank you for it. But I typically on Instagram, I go in there and I'll type in whatever area I'm in and I'll put fix and flip or whatever the case may be. I want to know that somebody's closing deals in that particular area. And I'll reach out to them and I'll say, hey, I got a potential lead over there. I'm qualifying the leads. I just want to know if I need to set an appointment, would you be able to show up? And typically it's easy money for them because typically I JV it. So I only go with people that have buyers already. If they don't have buyers, I won't work with them. That way, all I got to do is essentially get the lead, send it over to them, and I don't have to worry about anything else. So that's one of the ways that we actually do it. We get boots on the ground, but like I said, you can leverage social media to find exactly who's already closing deals. A lot of people say hire somebody else to do that, but essentially I want somebody that can go over there, get the property under contract, and actually close the deal. That way money is brought in. I've lost a lot of money relying on other people. So I like to go with the hard hitters, the heavy closers that know what they're doing so we can keep rocking and rolling. Number 5. We're talking about number 5. It's essentially wholesale the deal. You got to sell that particular deal, get it to the title company and sell it to an end buyer. And how do you find your end buyers? You can find them from Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. You can find them from downloading a buyers list and actually calling those particular buyers. Essentially what you want to do is generate a ton of buzz around your particular property. That way you can sell it. And then worst case scenario, you just JV, like I was talking about with boots on the ground that already have buyers. So they make that process a whole heck of a lot easier for you. And you just keep rocking and rolling. Now, one thing I do want to give you this tip is that when we're talking about virtual wholesaling, you got to understand your markets. Right? You got to understand your markets. And what I'm talking about when I say that is you got to understand where you're investing at, because if you don't, you won't have a great idea how much money you can make. Right? So when I say that, I'm saying, for instance, I'm in Dallas, right? I know in Dallas, my average assignment is going to be around $17,000 to $20,000. Right? That's a pretty good assignment fee on one deal. That's the average. right? I've gotten ones up to 72. I've got one for 51. Got multiple at 40, right? But on average, they're going to average around $17,000 to $20,000, right? Those are anomalies. But the average, I can look at $15,000 to $25,000 on an average deal. But with that being said, if I go down to Houston, San Antonio, both of those are basically base hit markets. We're going in there because prices of homes are already so cheap that when I go in there, it's only so much money to be made if I'm doing the 70% minus repairs rule, right? So if I'm doing that type of investing, I got to understand exactly how much money I can make. So with that being said, you got to look at your particular market and understand what market I want to go into to make the most amount of money, or how much work am I going to need to do. You can still make 6 figures in Houston and San Antonio, but you got to do 10 deals. Right? You got to do 10 deals to make 6 figures that month. Whereas in Dallas, you can possibly do 5 deals and half the work, a little bit more competitive, but half the work, and you make the same amount of money, right? So it's a little bit different. You got to understand exactly what area you're going into. That way you can evaluate it and actually accomplish your goals, and you will know exactly what you need to do to accomplish your goals, as opposed to messing around and not really getting anything accomplished, right? So with that being said, thank you guys for actually staying to this particular point in the video. Like I said, I'll be dropping all those links as far as Zen Call, Batch Leads, Real Estate IQ, all in the bio. Definitely check it out. If you have any more questions, please leave a comment. I would love to hear from you as far as how I can get better, and as far as what you need so I can actually provide value to you as a value customer. Appreciate you guys, and keep winning.